A boy, desperate to experience adult life, trapped his family in a deep pit in the wilderness. To make sure they wouldn't starve, he would occasionally toss food down to them. While the three people in the hole were furious, there was absolutely nothing they could do about it. The pit was dozens of meters deep, and there was no way they could climb out with their bare hands. It all started a few days earlier. John hated school and always got zeros on his tests, which meant he was constantly getting chewed out by his teachers. This really got under his skin. When he got home and saw his carefree parents and sister, John desperately wanted to know what it felt like to be a grown-up. Soon enough, he came up with a plan. One day while playing in the forest, he stumbled upon a pit dozens of meters deep in the heart of the jungle. Staring down into the bottomless darkness, a bold idea suddenly struck him. At dinner that night, he casually brought up the pit to his father. His dad told him it was an unfinished bunker built by the previous owner, who'd fallen seriously ill before he could complete it. The project had been abandoned ever since. Luckily, it was hidden enough that no one had bothered to fill it in. Hearing this, John became even more determined to go through with his plan. That day, he spiked their drinks with sleeping pills. After dinner, his parents and sister quickly passed out. John carefully crept into his sister's room to make sure she was completely unconscious. Then he dragged all three of them out, loaded them onto a wheelbarrow, and dumped them into the pit deep in the forest. It wasn't until the next day, when the drugs wore off, that the three of them woke up in horror to find themselves trapped in a forest pit. Only their son John was missing. They immediately realized their precious boy was behind all this. In desperation, they screamed for help at the top of their lungs, but it was useless. There wasn't another soul for miles around except their family. To prevent relatives and friends from looking for them, John grabbed his parents' phones and, imitating their voices, canceled all their plans. Then he pulled his father's $1 million luxury car out of the garage to experience the thrill of driving for the first time. Next, he headed to the ATM in town, stuck in his father's bank card, and withdrew $50,000 to fund his upcoming adventures. He planned to spend the next while fully experiencing the joys of being an adult. But just 2 days later, his mother's friend showed up at the door. Fortunately, John was ready for this. He lied, saying his grandfather had suddenly passed away a few days ago, and his parents had taken his sister back to their hometown for the funeral. They wouldn't be back for a while. He'd stayed behind because he had tutoring sessions to attend. The woman bought it without question. After successfully getting rid of his mother's friend, John remembered his family in the pit. He slowly made his way there. His parents demanded to know why he was doing this, but John didn't say a word. He just tossed the food he'd brought into the hole, then ignored his furious parents and headed back home to enjoy his carefree gaming time. Meanwhile, the three people in the hole were trying to climb out, but after exhausting themselves, they realized it was hopeless. The pit was simply too deep to escape from without help.